Today, day one of President Trump, well, former President Trump's second impeachment trial. We have got the highlights, or like I like to say, the lowlights for you. Also, is Joe Biden dismantling ICE? We have got the expert on the subject coming up, and it starts right now. Welcome to the News and Why It Matters. I'm Sarah Gonzalez, today joined by Sheriff Bill Wayburn of Tarrant County. Thank you for being here, Sheriff.
It's good to be with you.
I always love it when I have a man in a cowboy hat sitting to my left, so thank you for being here. Also joined by Yaku Buyans, host of the Yaku Buyans Show, who's looking very dapper in his jacket as well.
Good to be here. Thank you. It's good to be with the sheriff again, a man I love and admire, and we feel safer already.
Yes, we are, and we're happy to have you back, and happy that you were reelected to watch over everyone in Tarrant County.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so day one of President Trump's second impeachment trial today. And of course, it started with a huge debate over the constitutionality of the trial. Here is a Democratic representative from Colorado talking about the constitutionality of the trial, which, of course, usually along party lines, the Democrats are saying, oh, I mean, yeah, no, it's definitely constitutional. The Republicans saying, obviously, the opposite. Watch.
You can try, convict, and disqualify a former president. And that makes sense because the text of the Constitution makes clear there is no January exception to the impeachment power. That presidents can't commit grave offenses in their final days and escape any congressional response. That's not how our Constitution works.
Now, gentlemen, I do want to get your thoughts on the impeachment trial, but I do want to play one more clip for you because I think that this impeachment trial is, it's very much about feelings and emotions. That's what we see from the Democrats time and time again, right? It's all about feelings. It's all about emotions. Very little to do with actual facts, proving that there is a reason to impeach a former president who does not hold office any longer. And here is another Democratic representative explaining his experience on January 6th. I'm still failing to connect the dots on what that has to do specifically with the impeachment, but watch.
Our new chaplain got up and said a prayer for us, and we were told to put our gas masks on. And then there was a sound I will never forget, the sound of pounding on the door like a battering ram. The most haunting sound I ever heard, and I will never forget it.
I mean, again, very flowery language, I'm sure very touching, very emotional. We saw, who was it? One of AOC's friends, I forget, last week, who stood there and cried on the floor, even though she was not actually present whenever the rioting went on. She was crying for all of her friends, I guess, all of her colleagues. But we see a lot of emotion, kind of void of any facts, though, purporting that President Trump was directly responsible for what they are calling an insurrection at the Capitol. Sheriff, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, one is that their logic of impeaching former presidents, then should we go after Carter and the rest of them? Can we continue to do this? And secondly, I think it's very curious on the constitutionality when the Supreme Court Chief Justice refuses to sit and be a part of this. There's a hint. And then if we're going to go on emotion, if we're going to have justice, criminal justice, driven by emotion, we're all in trouble.
Yeah, that is very true because, you know, Yaku, to the sheriff's point, we've played it on the show. I know many people have seen the compilation surface on the internet, but there are plenty of montages of Democrats calling for all sorts of things that you could say, well, I mean, someone must have heard that and, you know, someone listened to Bernie Sanders' rhetoric and went to a baseball field and tried to eliminate, shoot, and kill most of the Republicans in Congress. You know, thankfully he was not successful in that. But if we're going to do this retroactively, let's get the list going.
Yeah, a mutual friend of us got shot through the back and almost through the spine that night on that baseball field. If it wasn't for brave men and women and law enforcement, many would have died that night, right? But the sets of rules are different. You're playing a game on one field with two sets of rules, and they're racking up trophies, almost like we go hunting. It is about racking up a trophy for them going after a president. It's to rub salt in the wounds. It's to make a point to the American people. Really, there's a lot actually to be said here subliminally. They're actually sending messages to the American people that if your guy who was your president, who you elected, 70+ million if you voted for, if he cannot escape us, you've got no chance as a normal American in Omaha, Nebraska, or Fort Worth, Texas. Good luck if you have a complaint with the Constitution of the United States. So we're coming for you too. And it's a submission tactic, really, if you think about it. This is how you indoctrinate a society and go, you know, we can get this guy. And so, because to what end? It's not going to happen. They know it's not going to happen. They don't have the votes, you know, in the Senate. So this is for me, I look at it from a lens of, this is them getting Americans under their thumb and just saying, we're going to remind you who's in charge here, right? And in the antics, I mean, it's all the emotionality to the sheriff's point. It's all driven by emotion. Everything they do is based on emotion and feelings, right? So.
Well, so I'm looking at this, I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, if I'm the average American, perhaps someone who, a Trump voter who switched and voted for Joe Biden, and, you know, it's just this average middle-of-the-road American who is watching all of this happen, is watching this circus and going, guys, we've got COVID that's decimating my business. We've got all of these things going on, and you guys are spending time trying to impeach a president who is no longer in office. I have to believe that these people are like, why did we just vote you in to sit around and do nothing but try to make a circus, a big production out of something that doesn't matter to my life?
Well, I think that there is a majority of good people who you just described. But I think there is a percentage that have bought into the hate for Trump, and that's exactly what it is. It's an incredible hatred for Trump, that they want his head on a platter, and they are all for it. Spend the money, spend the time. This is great entertainment for them, and they want him hung. And I think that's absolutely what's going on here. But I think it's a minority of people who have bought into the major media's demonization of Donald Trump.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with the Sheriff Yaku.
That's the head on a stake. I'm talking about the trophy that they want, you know, but also
the squeaky wheel gets the grease, though, right?
But it's
they're the minority, but they scream the loudest.
But it's very convenient also. It's in the first 100 days of a presidency. So it's very convenient to, at the same time as you're, you know, some of the other things we're doing, you have this distraction over here. Something as little as this. In the last 2 weeks of Joe Biden's campaign, which he didn't campaign, but on his behalf, they said, we promise we're giving you $2,000 per person.
Right.
They dropped that to $1,400, and you hear nothing about it. Why? Because it's all impeachment. But don't worry, we're getting the bad guy. We're still going after the bad guy. And it's almost like to their own people who did vote for Biden that may have some issue with, wait a minute now, I'm a business owner, and I'm not, don't worry though, don't worry about that. Your family, we're getting Orange Man bad, right? And so they're going to milk it as long as they can, I believe.
Yeah. So I guess when, I want to move on, but I do want to ask you guys a question that I don't want to put you on the spot, but I am curious when you're looking at the way that the Democrats have gone about with the second impeachment trial, and you look at just in, as you said, the first 100 days of a new president's presidency, you look at how they have kind of pushed the ball forward on talking about packing the court. You look at how they are talking about, or how they already have stripped Marjorie Taylor Greene of her committee assignments, which is something historically they have set a new precedent at that point, right? Historically, it has not been the majority's, designation to strip that from the minority. It's been the minority's job to deal with. So now they keep pushing the ball forward on this. And we saw Kevin McCarthy say this about Marjorie Taylor Greene. You guys are going to regret this. We heard it from Mitch McConnell way back whenever Harry Reid nuked the judicial filibuster, and they said, you guys, you're going to regret this. This is going to come back to bite you. And they keep doing these things, including the impeachment trial. I guess I'm of the opinion, I'm kind of done playing by the rules. I say, you know what? If you guys are going to continue to not play by the rules, you're going to continue to twist the rules to your advantage, I'm all for it. Just don't be surprised when we come back and do it to you. That's how I feel. I'm curious what your thoughts are. I'm hoping that maybe someone will be the angel on my shoulder and say, no, Sarah, we always have to abide by the rules. We have to be the better party. But I just feel like very frustrated because it hasn't gotten us anywhere. What are your thoughts?
Well, I certainly believe in rule of law, and I believe in rules and decorum and civility. And we got to figure out how to get there. But as long as the other side, this is the challenge, the rules are mere suggestions that they take under advisement. Right. They don't mean anything to them. Yeah. And I think that what we have to do is reassess what the rules really are. And then whatever they are, honorably march through those orders. Mm-hmm. But you're right. They don't have any rules, and they are not there. And they don't have anyone to hold them accountable, right? Because they've got the media running cover for them, and so nobody holds them accountable. And it's just frustrating because you want to be the better person and you want to say, oh, okay, well, we're going to continue to play by the rules. But it's not a level playing field when you've got one party that's playing by the rules, one party that's not. What are your thoughts? Yeah, definitely frustrating when the referee, the highest court in the land, or the Oval Office doesn't step up to referee, as we saw with the highest court in the land, just step away from some things with voter fraud, etc. But I'll say this to you though: whenever you don't play, and we have to around this table, we have to play by the rules. But I'll say this though. We have been so milquetoast as a Republican Party that we play by the rules to the point where we actually do nothing. I say this all the time. Football's got rules, and inside those lines within the rules, you can really do damage. Mm-hmm. Within the rules, you can really, enforce some authority. Sheriff, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Right? The rule of law gives a lot of that, but we don't. Yeah. We go to sleep. We went to sleep for 4 years, Sarah, with our guy in the White House, and then we wake up one morning and we're surprised that we're in a fight. Yeah. We need to learn how to play to the line. Play within the rules, absolutely, but there's a lot of room for us to do a lot more than we've done in the past. And they are not just playing to the line, they cross the line because there's no consequence, right? So yes, we got it, because when you break law, you lose your country. That's Africa. You break rules, you lose the country. Mm-hmm. And that's probably what they want. They want to break this nation for what she is, to redefine America. That's scary. Because I immigrated here because of what it is, what it stands for. What the badge means, what we swear an oath to, what I had to denounce my previous country for, and so I think they want to break that model and redefine her, and that is a scary, scary thing. Have they broken it already? Have they successfully redefined America yet? Because we've got a new president now, and I don't think that they have. Okay. And we're here representing that hasn't occurred yet. We still are in the fight. And what we have got to do is, as I think you very well said, Jocko, is we've got to figure out what our marching orders are, unite our party, and we have got to figure out what hills. We may be dying on some hills we don't need to die on. We got to figure out what the root of the issues is and go after it. And I believe education of people, it's just like a number of people said they would have changed their votes if they'd have known about young Biden's activities. Right. Right. Well, what are we doing to get stuff out, to get messages out? We need champions in the studio, and we need champions in office sounding the rallying cry. That's right. And I'll add one more to that. We need champions over there defeating big tech's algorithms to get the message out that way too, because God knows they are trying to silence us over there as well. All right, we've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Grove Collaborative. So a lot of you, we're all trying to avoid going to the stores. Maybe if you're scared of COVID,
great. You don't want to go to the store. If you don't want to wear a mask, you also don't want to go to the store. So nobody wants to go to the store anymore, but you run out of your household essentials, your toiletries, stuff like that, and you don't know where to turn. This is where Grove Collaborative can come in. Grove is the online marketplace that I love because they've got healthy home, beauty, and personal care products directly delivered to you. And by the way, it's all environmentally friendly. So for those of you who maybe you're like me and you can call yourself a conservative hippie, got a little bit of hippie in you, you like to go green, be environmentally friendly. And not just that, though, safe for your family, for your pets, for everyone in your household, also for the planet. Grove has you covered for anything that you could possibly imagine that you need for your household that will also satisfy all of those boxes. You don't have to shop multiple stores or search endlessly online to get all of these natural goods that you need. You can go to Grove, get it all there, get it shipped directly to you. Join over 2 million households who have trusted Grove to keep their homes happier and healthier. Shipping is also fast and free on every order. All you have to do is go to grove.co/news. You will get to choose a free gift with your first order of $30 or more. You got to use the special code, though. Go to grove.co/news to get your exclusive offer. I highly recommend Mrs. Myers out there, okay? I don't know if it's one of your options, but if it is, get it. You will not be disappointed. Grove.co/news. Back in a minute. Sheriff in Maryland is accusing the Biden administration of effectively dismantling ICE with all of their new illegal immigration executive orders, all of their agendas on illegal immigrants, basically reversing all of the progress. I think us at this table, we would say progress that the Trump administration tried to make on illegal immigration. And here he is blasting the Biden administration. And then I'm very anxious to get someone's thoughts at the table. Watch.
Yeah. This is absolutely outrageous, Steve. Americans should be angry and outraged. What he's done is effectively and functionally dismantled ICE, basically telling the agents to stand down. There will be no enforcement. So what this is going to do, this is going to be disastrous, dangerous, going to impact every county, every city, every community in this country. And again, this is total lawlessness. We have to have interior enforcement along with strong border security, or we have no laws.
Now, of course, the details of what he's alluding to is that agents will no longer seek to deport immigrants for crimes such as driving under the influence and assault, and will focus instead on national security threats, recent border crossings, and people completing prison and jail terms for aggravated felony convictions. Sheriff, so I could be wrong, but I don't think that Americans, actual citizens of this country, just get a free pass if they are driving under the influence or committing assault.
Absolutely not. And DWI is one of those things that we've seen time and time again bring so much tragedy. In fact, I am so shocked at President Biden including that. He lost his first wife to a DWI.
That's a great point.
And but what they're doing is that we've already seen results. We have already seen results. When Donald Trump came into office, you could get a gram of methamphetamine on the streets of Texas for $20. After we took on the cartel locally and externally, we saw that go back up to $75 or $80 a gram because of we were doing a good job. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? In just a short time period he's been in office, we're already seeing that go down. And that's what we need is more methamphetamines on the street at a cheaper rate. Right. But Chuck was absolutely right. He's tied the hands. He's not let Border Patrol do what they need to do. And he's going to cause calamity at prison systems who want to release people to them, at county jails where we've got these people going on, and they're going to be released back to the streets. And, you know, we have one DWI offender that his 13th DWI, and the last one, he killed a 14-year-old girl. And Joe Biden's going to let him back out on the street.
I mean, the sheriff speaks truth here, and not just thank you for pointing out Joe Biden's first wife and how she passed away. But so, I mean, that's a great point. You've got DWIs it's not just that's just a casual, no big deal crime. You're talking about killing people potentially. Yeah. Totally fine. Let's not pick them up and put them where they need to go, because I guess illegal immigrants get special treatment now if they come to America?
And you just said something there. Let's just start there. Illegal immigrants. First, breaking a federal law, not here legally. So the DWI is not even the first offense. This is an illegal immigrant here. So you're already supposed to be on some sort of a roll to be, taken into a deportation proceeding, to go in front of a judge and go into a deportation hearing. Now you're driving under the influence. You're now a risk to society. You're now a risk to legal Americans. One thing I will tell you, and I don't know if the sheriff will agree or not, but normally crime begets crime. And so when you find this and you start arresting a guy, all of a sudden you find that there's also illegal arms, there's illicit activity. Somehow always there's sexual violence, sexual assault, trafficking involved. It's just, it attracts itself. So we're talking about, I don't want people to just go, oh, it's just TWI. It's not the case, though. It bleeds into other areas of society. It puts a stress on our system, Sarah, that I don't know that we can measure. Healthcare, the cost of goods, policing a community all of a sudden, now you need double the budget you used to have, but we're cutting funding. So you're cutting funding on the one end, you're taxing a city by saying, hey, law enforcement, do your job, because we're letting literal criminals, felons, out on the street. I mean, it breaks a society. You can't run a society that way.
And the bigger thing on that is, just to dovetail off of it, and I do agree with you, is that, for instance, right now, we take snapshots in our jail from time to time. And last week we have 280 illegal aliens in jail on all serious charges. The two major charges was DWI, and the second one was sexual assault of a child.
See?
Out of those people, out of the 280, is that in another snapshot we looked at it, 70% are repeat offenders.
Yeah, there you go.
So 70% of those people that we're letting go because of Biden's order, we're going to see again. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden now a little 14-year-old dies or a sex traffic victim disappears.
That's right.
And nobody talks about it. We don't want to talk about, we do,
Yeah.
but the mainstream media is not going to talk about the consequence. And I've said this over and over, the collateral damage of COVID, the collateral damage of this decision. It looks okay on the surface, maybe even to someone on the left. Come on, it's just
Yeah, I was going to say it doesn't to me.
You don't understand. They don't really understand what this does. These are repeat offenders, sexual assault, and ultimately somebody, an American citizen with rights, gets hurt, and their rights are taken from them because someone who shouldn't be here all of a sudden gets a pass.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Yeah. Well, that was not the only sheriff that's pissed off at the new Biden administration. Sheriff A.J. Louderback from Jackson County here in Texas, also kind of mad at the Biden administration. He was on with Tucker Carlson last night talking about the fact that the Biden administration is actually just releasing these immigrants into the country. No COVID test, no nothing. I guess COVID is not important anymore. Here, watch.
Is it true in the state of Texas that people who have been detained because they're not here legally, they're foreign nationals, are being released without coronavirus tests?
It's absolutely true. The memo that I received this last week, it's essentially a defund ICE by memo, by a memorandum that was sent out by David Pekoski on January 20th of 21. So this is a particularly devastating document for Texans and Americans here in the United States. The message really has been sent, when I read it first and looked at it, it's a message to the world. You can come here illegally. You can commit crimes here against Americans and remain here illegally.
Now, all great points from the sheriff, but it just strikes me as crazy. I mean, insane, really, that we are asked by the Biden administration, well, told, really, we have to wear masks. You must wear masks. In fact, don't wear one mask. Wear 2 masks. Yeah. In fact, 3 masks really is where you want to be. I mean, we're supposed to do this until the end of time, but they're not even going to test people who are coming across the border before they release them into our country for this virus that they say is so horrible we have to shut down our businesses so that we can't feed our families. Seems insane to me.
It is absolutely insane. And the sheriff they're reporting was A.J. Louderback. And A.J. is a good friend, and he's our representative that keeps his pulse on this. So he's got firsthand information. He goes to the border often, and he listens to what's going on down there. So he's seeing this stuff firsthand. So I want to to your listeners, he's a very credible source.
Where is Jackson County?
That is just south of Austin.
Okay.
And but AJ goes back, and I've been on the border with him.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is absolutely true. Is that we saw some of that intel coming out? Is that they're releasing lots and lots of people.
Yeah.
ICE has got they've been handcuffed. They've absolutely been handcuffed.
Yeah, we talked off camera, and the sheriff was sharing with me here in studio that we're going to see these ICE agents look for other employment in city policing. And you're going to stop having people wanting to work on the border.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the game plan. But I almost feel like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I feel like there's a suit coming. I feel like we're going to see Ted Cruz go after and sue and say, listen, now if you guys are going to look at Texas at all and say anything COVID about Texas numbers, so should California, because we're on the border. If you're going to say there's a spike in COVID, it's on you because you brought it in. Because they love to sing COVID all the time. Well, now who are you going to blame? All of a sudden, how are we going to track that exactly? If there should be a spike in COVID for some reason, are we going to be able to point to Joe Biden particularly?
Right.
And say you are solely responsible, like they said, hey, President Trump, you're solely responsible for the breach in the Capitol building. Meanwhile, he's still speaking 15 minutes after they entered, and so are we going to be able to do that? Is that level of accountability going to be there? No.
Yeah.
They're just going to wave a flag. But I think there's probably someone like Ted Cruz or someone will probably go and say, hey, we're going to sue. You guys are infecting us with COVID because you've opened the border.
Well, Ken Paxton, our AG, has already filed a lawsuit.
Really?
Yes, he's filed a lawsuit, and he has interrupted the deportation. He's got a federal judge to agree with him, and they were back in court on Friday on that, and in fact, they were using some of our stats to present to the judge, and we were very excited about that. So maybe there's a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
A little bit of hope there, where a federal judge said, hang on, Mr. President, maybe not so fast on this staying deportations.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yes. Well,
good news.
yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. God, I love our AG.
He fights.
I
He
love
fights.
Ken. Yeah,
No, he
I love
fights
Ken
hard.
Paxton.
He fights
All
hard.
right, we've got more to come. First, we want to thank our sponsor this segment, Patriot Mobile. In case you have not heard yet, Patriot Mobile just expanded their coverage, which is going to make it easier for you to dump whatever other carrier you're using who is charging you way too much money and then donating it to a bunch of causes that you spend all of your hard-earned energy, money, time fighting against. All right, Patriot Mobile is not going to send a penny to the left. They're not going to silence you either, by the way. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. You can switch very, very easily. It's 2020. No, it's not. It's 2021. Even better. All right. I'm stuck in this 2020 cycle. I got to get out of it. Just wait. There's more. 2021 promises worse things to come, except Patriot Mobile, because they have expanded their network in 2021. Switching, like I said, very, very easy. You can keep your number. You can bring your own phone over, or you can buy a new one if it's about that time and you're going, I'm kind of jonesing for a new phone. Get it with Patriot Mobile. You can build your own bundle with multi-line discounts and save even more on their already very, very reasonable prices. All you have to do is go to patriotmobile.com/news. That is patriotmobile.com/news. By the way, veterans, first responders, you are going to save even more. And for those of you who are going to patriotmobile.com/news, you are going to get free Premier activation and also a free gift with offer code news. Again, they don't tell me what the gift is. So I want to know. You guys tell me, what is the gift? Tell me when you do this. I want to know. I don't like surprises. I need to find out. Someone tell me. Go to patriotmobile.com/news, offer code news. That is patriotmobile.com/news. Back in a minute. This week, I guess it was yesterday. Golly, it's only Tuesday. Woo, it's going to be a long week. Yesterday, we brought you the media clutching their pearls because they were at the Super Bowl. It was in Florida. It was in Tampa. And people were not wearing masks. They were doing things like walking outside. They were smiling. They were even laughing some of the time. The nerve of these people during a pandemic to sit around and laugh with their friends. While Tampa Mayor Jane Castor was not having it. All right, she had seen the reports that people were out there having fun, not wearing masks, and she could not believe it. Here is what the Tampa mayor had to say about all of this just recklessness. Watch.
Everyone knows that simply wearing a mask dramatically reduces the spread of COVID-19. And I'm proud to say that the majority of individuals that I saw out and about enjoying the festivities associated with the Super Bowl were complying. You know, we had tens of thousands of people all over the city, downtown, out by the stadium, Ybor City, down here in Channelside, and very, very few incidents. So I'm proud of our community, but those few bad actors will be identified, and the Tampa Police Department will handle it.
Well, okay. Tough talk. Okay, Mayor Karen. That's great. The only problem, however, is that this mayor herself been spotted multiple times since the mask mandate. I could be wrong. This may be a flesh-colored mask that just blends in with her skin. Don't believe she's wearing a mask in this picture here from the hockey playoffs. Also from another one from October at a Halloween party. No mask, do not believe, unless her arms are very long, and this picture is very deceiving that don't believe she's 6 feet apart from these people. So no social distancing, no mask wearing from the mayor, who says that they will be identifying the people who are not wearing masks, and the police will handle the situation. Well, what are your thoughts on this, Sheriff?
You know, hypocrites are, these folks that say one thing and do another are just something to put up with. Is the good governor of Florida, I don't think will tolerate that. Yeah. Yeah. I think that he will step in, and I think his orders are written very close to Governor Abbott's orders in regards to masks, where it's just a respectful thing or what others want to do, but it's not enforceable.
You can't really enforce it.
Not at all.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Jaco?
Yeah, look, the leadership is hypocritical, so they have the license and the right. They've been granted the right to lie through their teeth, live by do as I say, not as I do, which never works. Ask any parent, okay? It just doesn't work. It's a dad with a cigarette in his mouth telling his son not to smoke because it's going to kill him, right? But they've been given this right from the Oval Office. They've been given this right from so many up in the higher ups in that party who have been seen doing this, and so they are going to abuse that right. They'll stand in front of a camera with a mask on, literally saying, law enforcement is coming to get you if you didn't wear your mask, but the very person is on camera not wearing a mask, and law enforcement's not going to go for her, right, because they create a set of rules that's immune. So, I mean, they're going to abuse the system because they've been giving the permission to do so by higher-ups.
And I don't know the Tampa Bay police chief, but how exciting has he got to be?
Yeah.
Let's not go after rapists, robbers, and burglars.
Right.
Right.
The people drinking a beer for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, tailgating.
Right.
And bringing so much good press to that city.
Well, that's what I was thinking was like, okay, so I think a lot of cities right now with all of these COVID shutdowns, they're probably like, I would kill for the Super Bowl to be hosted in my city to get all of that revenue from all of these people. I mean, not as much as a regular Super Bowl because everything was limited, but still to be able to get that extra additional revenue right now would be amazing. And now you've got the Tampa mayor like just completely, oh, you just came and gave our city all of this extra revenue. Well, screw you guys. I hope that the police come and find you and fine you.
Can you imagine being Tom Brady and just won the Super Bowl for Tampa and all the great stuff that's going on, and this is the mayor's news cons?
Come on.
No kidding. One more thing from you, Sheriff. What are you seeing when you're here in Texas, where we just had one of our hosts, Steve Dace, he's from Iowa, and he came here and he said, I don't understand why it is that you guys are Texas, and I don't see all of these people going to a store, standing up, saying we're not going to do this any longer. We're not going to wear the masks. We're not going to. It's insane. And he said, I just felt like in Texas we would see this. And so, what are you seeing out there as far as people with the whole mask mandates? Are the businesses calling people in? Are they very scared? What's the deal?
Well, I will tell you, at a lot of businesses that I see people go in and out, I see people without masks and not much is done, is one of the things that is happening is people with alcohol beverage license is the ABC agents are saying, hey, you've got to enforce the mask law. And I've had people tell me that, those things have happened. But I don't see any vigor toward any enforcement of the mask. And I think people do it out of courtesy and respect for their neighbors, or, they wear it into the stores just simply because it's good. My Baptist friends think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, so they can go in liquor stores now. So
no one sees them. I think that looks like David's eyes, but I can't really tell.
No, it wasn't me. I promise it wasn't me.
I'm going to get in trouble for that one. But,
no, it's good.
It's a joke. It's okay.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
Good. You're good.
But anyway, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Yaku, last word on this. You notice the mayor there, the left tends to just stick in these little tidbits of, everyone knows that masks work.
Exactly.
Well, the science is crystal clear on this. Well, everyone knows. And every time I hear it, I'm like, does everyone know that?
I think that's the same reason why we can answer Steve Deace and say, Steve, why haven't we completely abandoned masks yet? Because it's been programmed into culture. It's going to take a minute to deprogram. We're still the freest of any state in the nation, but this is how they do it. They'll slip it in there. The science, the facts are in. The science is proven.
Every time they
talk
about
science?
It.
There's proof against it around the world.
Yeah.
Around the world, there's proof against. Just like, hydroxychloroquine doesn't work. The science is in, and now all of a sudden it works.
Right.
Now all of a sudden Biden says it works, so the science changed. I thought science doesn't change just all of a sudden. So that's why, as long as they can, it's the supporting narrative. You feed it. Marketing 101 teaches you've got to see it 10 times for it to stick. Well, they go by the 100 rule. We're just going to bring it to you in droves. And they'll slip it in subliminally. And with such authority and backed by the press, right, as if the science is in.
Right.
Masks absolutely work, right? And so my argument is always, if the masks work, then you should be fine if you have a mask on. And I don't. You should be protected then. If your mask truly works, then you shouldn't worry about me not having a mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, if the masks work, we probably wouldn't have seen the spikes in all of the states
California
that had the mask mandates for a very long time. But hey, what do I know?
Great debate. Great debate.
Minor details here. All right, we've got more to come, but we got to take a break. Back in a minute.
The Baptist joke just fell out of my head.
It's good.
The city of Palm Beach, the officials there are apparently considering a petition from former President Trump's neighbors who are looking to bar him from living full-time at his Mar-a-Lago estate. And again, his estate. I feel like I need to emphasis on keywords. His estate. They don't want him being their neighbor. So they said they want to ban him from the neighborhood. This is not the only Trump. They can't stop thinking about him. They can't stop talking about him. It's a sickness that they have. It's not just that. I saw there was USA Today, New York Times, whatever. They're all insufferable. But I saw an op-ed about a woman who had a neighbor who was a Trump supporter, and she didn't know whether, she's like, do I befriend this neighbor who was a Trump supporter? I mean, yeah, they helped me scrape ice off my car. They helped me plow my driveway from snow, but they also are basically akin to Nazis. So could I, in good conscience, really befriend this Trump supporter after Trump has lost? And it's just like, guys, that we're over it. You got to get over it. Can we all just get over it and move on? Apparently not, Sheriff.
The lack of civility in this world is going to drive a greater divide that is going to be difficult to overcome if these people don't. We were founded on Christian principles.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
The second greatest commandment is, love your neighbor more than yourself. Mm-hmm. And those people ought to get on that bandwagon, and they ought to see what they could do for their new neighbor rather than cause this conflict. This is craziness.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's almost the kind of thing where I don't even want to give it attention. It's so outside of. Let's get back to the President Trump thing. He's the owner of this property. Property right law is not going to allow a neighbor. You don't like him, you move.
Exactly.
Sell your home and you move. If he violates, if the president, former president of the United States, violate, let's say, noise law after 10 p.m., there's law enforcement and rules in place. And they'll come knock on the door and say, excuse me, Mr. President, your radio is a little loud, right? If he's throwing things over the wall. But you can't evict a guy from his own property because you don't like him or his policy, or you can only live here partially because you used to live here partially and now you're here all the time. We don't like that. Then move.
Right.
That's what I say to Americans that don't like, rule of law. Go to another country. Please move to Scandinavia, move to Brussels, move to Brazil. You'll crawl back. You will crawl back to this beautiful place called the United States of America.
I mean, not wrong. You're absolutely right there. And I don't mean to put either of you on the spot, but do you feel like, you said the lack of civility is it just seems to be getting worse in the United States, but I feel like it's just coming from one side.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I wish that I could say, I try to be objective. Yes, we are all equally responsible for this, but it's like, I want to be friends with you guys and I don't want to talk politics all the time, but I feel like when politics becomes your entire religion, it becomes your entire identity. They feel like they have to do these things.
I think the big difference between the two sides on the issue of civility, we do have a few people that become evil.
Yeah, there are jerks of every sort of.
But we go after them and hold them accountable.
Yes.
Right. And I think that these folks on the other side just continue to drive this home. And Jocko said it a while ago. He said, that you ought to move. Just move. And I'd be wondering in about a year or two how much his house price will go up because the president does live next door to him.
No kidding.
That's right.
No kidding.
Oh, property value is going up just because he's there, and it's always gone up. Anywhere he goes, he builds a golf estate, property value goes through the roof. I mean, the man comes and he stimulates economy because that's what he is. He's a capitalist, and people should be thankful. Look, I think it was 2 or 3 months ago, right before the election on this stage, I said, I sat in that chair and I said, I want you to know, if Joe Biden becomes president, you're going to pay more at the pump.
Oh, I just filled up my car.
You're going to pay more at the pump. And if you're paying more at the pump here, they're going to $5 in California.
Yeah.
Good luck. You can't kill the Keystone Pipeline. You can't do these kind of things without consequence. You can't. God set the universe up, and there's consequence. You just can't do these things. So, I mean, good luck for those who voted for him. I hope there's a little buyer's remorse.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll
see. The jury's still out on that. We'll see if they can connect those dots there. All right, we got to take a break. Back in a minute. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Before we go, our thoughts and prayers are with the family of GOP Representative Ron Wright, who passed away. I believe it was yesterday? Sunday. He was battling cancer and then received a COVID-19 diagnosis on top of the cancer. So our thoughts and prayers are with him, Sheriff.
Thank you. Ron was a dear friend, and as I spoke of champions for good causes, he was that guy. He also was a guy that brought calmness to the room, and his civil discourse was always there, whether it was AOC on the left or whoever. He was going to be kind and respectful to everybody in his presence, and he did that and he walked that. Great man of faith. Somebody said, so he lost his battle, and I said, I think he won. I think he won, and there's a great picture of him in his bow tie.
Yeah, I love that.
And however, right now, is the media is already speculating on replacements and people, and if they're listening, I would call for them to stand down. That is not the season to do that. Let's take a moment and mourn and respectfully pay tribute to this incredible patriot.
Yeah, amen. And the calmness and civility that we were talking about, he was a great example of that. So thoughts and prayers going out to Representative Wright's family. Thanks for being here, guys.